Some 12,000 years ago, humans decided to domesticate animals, and to date, thousands of years later, humans are still at it, but with varying degrees of success. Today, we're going to talk about those animals that we tried to bend to our will, but we couldn't. So here are 10 animals we still haven't been able to domesticate. 10. The zebra. In the 19th and 20th centuries, when colonists encountered transportation problems, and especially when their horses were caught in different diseases, bringing new horses from Europe did not seem to be a cup of tea. Then, to solve this, they turned to the closest relatives of horses and donkeys. Yes, you guessed it right, I'm talking about zebras. They are plentiful in the African plains, but all attempts to domesticate this animal failed because it is a very alert and aggressive animal, and it is built in him for being naturally suspicious of other animals and humans. There's more about it, as it will flee when it will feel the slightest hint of danger. On the other hand, it's a fast runner, so definitely it's extremely difficult to domesticate. If they're ever able to be caught, it'll beat you up and deliver heavy kicks, bites, in an attempt to escape. However, the colonists managed to get them captured and found out that zebras are smaller than horses, and it's uncomfortable to ride on them as they don't like to be ridden. And their aggressive nature shares its habitat with predators like lions, crocodiles, hyenas, leopards, and man. So, therefore, it wasn't a nice decision to domesticate them. 9. The elephant. Even though they've been captured and trained for 3,000 years, elephants are still the ones who aren't domestic animals. I know you might find this piece of information a bit surprising and unbelievable, but that's a hell of a truth. People may have classified them as wild animals that can be tamed, but don't think it to be, as they're still wild nonetheless. Do you know why these captured and trained animals aren't the ones? Because they can't be selectively bred based on your certain favorite traits. So for being domesticated, they have to be selectively bred for up to the next 12 generations. And for that, they should be distant genetically from their wild forefathers and would be called domestic. Wait a minute, I mean, even that's new to me. By the way, in general, they can be domesticated as they're wild animals and people can only ride on them as they've been trained for that. But nevertheless, they're still like other wild animals. They can be unpredictable, so watch out. 8. The great white shark. I know what you might be thinking. Why would anyone even try to domesticate a white shark? But it's said that many people have already tried to domesticate these ocean monsters to the point of various degrees of failure, and they failed because great white sharks can't really keep well in captivity. According to some sources, the first great white shark that was held in captivity died within hours, and the longest this shark has been kept in captivity is for 16 days. In fact, the captured ones are known to be fond of hitting their heads to the glass walls of aquariums. Once a shark continued bashing its head on the glass wall until it died, and it was held at Okinawa Chirami Aquarium in Japan. On the other hand, one hit her head on the wall continuously and attacked 2 other sharks until she was freed and was held at California's Monterey Bay Aquarium. Great white sharks can't be domesticated because, firstly, they like to move constantly and are capable of moving through an entire ocean. The other reason is that they also need gallons of water to breathe, and can also get unbelievably aggressive in an anger they usually refuse to eat, as they require live prey that aquariums can't provide. 7. Dingoes. Did you know? Dingoes are dog-like animals that are commonly found in Australia, but despite all the facts that they look like dogs, they can't be domesticated. In fact, according to the Australian farmers, they are pests. It may seem like people have partly domesticated the dingoes thousands of years ago, just before letting them go out to the wild. But let me add that there has always been a little difference in the way the dogs are domesticated and the dingoes. However, for ages, dogs are considered to be the best companions of humans. But early natives of Australia, who might have domesticated the dingoes, considered them a source of food. But on the other hand, they didn't selectively breed animals according to their favorable characteristics. 6. The raccoon. To your knowledge, raccoons are known to be the perfect nominee for domestication, as they are one of the best skilled climbers and because they can easily squeeze into most of the tight spaces, as they are quite good and perfect working animals for such types of jobs. If they were ever domesticated, they'd be considered very useful for senior citizens and even as the physically challenged. But do you know why they haven't been domesticated by humans? Despite the fact that they're so cute and their looks can make you go, wow, raccoons are known to be the most aggressive and destructive ones and are actually naturally curious. Like, they love to move around and can quickly become destructive, especially when they're confined to a particular area. Therefore, because of all those facts, they mostly need to be constantly monitored. In fact, they do bite when hungry or angry, so be aware of them, as their bite can turn fatal and people can get rabies. By the way, did you know raccoons are also expert escape artists and will usually attempt to open anything they lay their hands on because they can use their hands like humans? So therefore, this is a reason why all domestication attempts have failed on them. Furthermore, as they are naturally loners and aren't social animals, they still wouldn't like to show a threat of loyalty to humans. By the way, if you ask me, I would say that if I ever had a chance, I would love to domesticate a raccoon, just like in the Avengers.
Raccoon? Don't call me a raccoon!
5. Bonobos. This is true that bonobos are the unique ones among others in the list because they aren't wild animals, and known to be domesticated, but not by humans, because they are the only ones who can domesticate themselves. Even scientists don't know how it happens, but they say that it happened 2 million years ago when the Congo River was formed in Africa. Well, this incident separated the forefathers of the bonobos and the chimpanzees that lived there, starting evolving into bigger and more aggressive ones because they competed with the bigger gorillas for food. On the other side of the river, there were the bonobos who had more than enough food to eat, and there were even no gorillas as well, so their females became picky to mate with their desired male. Aggressive males died out because the females preferred gentler ones over them. 4. Dolphins. We all know that dolphins are known to be the most intelligent animals, and you would have seen them performing under humans, but it's quite difficult to domesticate them, as they require a vast space to roam around, as they're habitual to the ocean or water, so it isn't easy to keep them around humans. People have kept dolphins in enclosures for the shows and eye-catchy tricks, but it's a far cry for a true domestication. They're intelligent, so that's why it's more difficult to convince them to perform on command. And the idea behind the partially domestication of them has no logical basis. You might convince them to breed in captivity through applying difficult methods, but you can't find the traits of the wild ones in them. But in short, it's a hell of a task if you're ever able to domesticate them, because buddy, you can't. 3. Hippopotamus. This animal is actually known to be the most dangerous animal in Africa. And despite being mainly an herbivore, hippopotamus have learned some effective protective tricks to help them survive in the wild. By the way, as they're highly aggressive, they often charge at humans and boats in their protection after considering them as threats. Some individuals have been successful in keeping them in captivity or even as pets, but by trusting them too much, owners have witnessed some spine-chilling incidents and paid the price. By the way, they can be a guard animal though, but they aren't easy to tame or control. Even the US Congress failed to do so in the 19th century.
Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and you'll get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it. It really works.
And now let us move on to our subscriber pick of the day. This image was sent to us by a subscriber. Similarly, if you ever wish to know more about an image you come across, just send it to us. Who knows, we might even feature it in one of our videos. Number 2. Rhinoceros. Today's pick is a fully decked out rhino as it's ready for a war or fight. Do you even think about domesticating it? I mean, if you ask me, I'd think twice to even consider it. And as you know, domesticating is a hell of a lot of work as it requires a lot of effort, so if you want to domesticate one, it should be useful for you, but rhinos aren't. Even its milk isn't rich in proteins and fats, but their strength is matchless. However, for me, domesticating them seems not worthy, and yes, it is quite risky to capture them because they're the second largest animal on the planet, and as we all know, they're highly aggressive and they can hit you so hard if you ever try to come near or be a threat to them. So no one can selectively breed them, but their aggressive trait can be bred out of them, so this animal has no use. 1. Bear. Do you know that there are only 8 different species of bear that can be found across North America, Europe, Asia, and South America? Just like other powerful animals, These omnivores would also be considered invaluable if you ever thought to domesticate them. Even because of the unpredictable nature of the bears, this task seems impossible because all the traits domestic animals should possess, bears miss out on all of them. First, one trait of a domestic animal should be to eat efficiently, but as bears require lots of meat to survive, that's a big no. Just like rhinos, bears also have a larger growth and gestation rate, so definitely it'll take a long time to breed favorable characteristics. And there's one more thing, that is, bears are highly resistant to captivity or breeding, and as they're fairly solitary animals, it is a difficult task to keep a group of them together. In fact, they can't even accept a human to be dominant over them, despite the fact that they have been kept in zoos or trained for circus acts. But they're meant to roam around and to live in the wild.